Hello, student. Welcome to all of you to another class of Pathfinder Institute of the special class RM Botany. Here, myself, Asijita Chatterjee. Today, I'll be conducting this class with several questions and answers and its analysis on the chapters Plant Kingdom. So, let us start our class. Okay, student. Look at the screen and the first question is here. The brown coloration of the phaeophyce is responsible for. Actually, student, phaeophyce, it is a algal group, okay? It is a algal group, and which type of the algae is present in the phaeophycean member? These are the brown algae, right? So, phaeophyce is the another name of, brown algae. Fine. So, definitely, as a photosynthetic group, definitely algae is one of the member of the plant kingdom. Though it can be the lower plant group, it's okay, but still algae is a plant group, right? So definitely they are able to photosynthesis. So now we have to think that by which pigment the brown algae can capture the light. Yes, and for which pigment the brown algae seems to be appear as the brown in the color. This is our point of the main focus area for that question. So, okay, so brown algae actually, one of the characteristics of the brown algae or the phaeophyce is that it contains the pigments, and these pigments are, chlorophyll A, okay, chlorophyll C, okay, carotenoid also fine, as well as the xanthophyll pigment, xanthophyll group of the pigment. And actually this xanthophyll is the most important reason for its appearance. Okay, xanthophyll. And in the xanthophyll group, a special group of pigment present which is fucoxanthin. And actually these are responsible for capturing the light. It is right. Chlorophyll A, C, carotenoid, xanthophylls. One of the xanthophylls is the fucoxanthin. It's okay. But among them, actually the reason for the brown coloration is directly dependent on this fucoxanthin, a type of the xanthophyll pigment. So definitely, student, we are taking the correct answer for that question. This option 1, fucoxanthin. Okay, fine. Okay, come to the next question. It is a statement based type of the question, and here in the question it is written that choose the correct statements about the liverwort. Choose the correct statements about the liverwort. Okay, student. So first, let us remember about the main characteristics feature of the liverwort. Student, you should know the liverworts group is one of the group among the plant groups Bryophyta. So the bryophyte plant groups has the major two groups. One of them is the liverworts. Fine. And in the liverwort there are two distinct phases. The initial, after the sexual reproduction, the zygote differentiated into a structure which is called the sporophyte. It is the initial phase of the life. It is the sporophyte. Okay, fine. And the sporophyte is differentiated into the three structure. Foot, seta, and capsule. Fine. And this structure, this sporophytic structure is not green. So they are completely, this sporophytic phase of the life of the liverwort is completely dependent upon the gametophyte. So definitely, as I am telling that sporophyte depends on the gametophyte. So definitely, whenever you think about, madam, what will be the nature of the gametophyte? It should be green. It is photosynthetic. It is independent. So come, The gametophytic structures of the liverwort, it is green in color, okay? The gametophyte is green in color and it is completely independent. It has several structures. I mean, the gametophyte, the gametophyte beard, the nutritive root-like structure, not actually root. It can be said these are root-like structure. These are called the rhizoids because there is no xylem in the phloem, so that okay. And so again, think what I have said, that sporophyte is non-green. Sporophyte of the liverwort is non-green. Yes, it is dependent on gametophyte and gametophyte is the green in the color. Fine. Okay, students, see one thing. Sporophyte and sporophytes are 2N in nature. I mean the cells are diploid. Sporophytes, that means that what sporophyte means that the tissue or the cell that it has, these are diploid in the nature. Fine. So inside this capsule, meiosis cell division takes place. And due to the meiosis, inside this sporophytic capsule, you know, some haploid spores are produced. Some haploid spores are produced. When these spores are released, I mean, definitely, as these are the product of the meiosis, so spores definitely are haploid in the nature, you know. So when they are released by the germination, the new plant bodies are grown, and that phase will be considered as the gametophyte. And the gametophyte, as being a main plant body of the bryophyte, I mean, liverwort is one of the group of the bryophyte. You know, it has root-like structure, as well as it may contain many sexual organ like male sex organs or female sex organs, something like that. It contains the male or the female sex organs. The male sex, or if it is the male sex organ, yes, student, it is called antheridia. Yes, the male sex organ are called the antheridia. Inside the antheridia, the male gametic cells are produced. These are called antherozoids. Antherozoid contain the flagella. These are nothing but these antherozoids are what, you know, as they are born inside the male reproductive structure in the liverwort's gametophyte. These antherozoids are nothing but the male gametic cells. As well as the sex organ. The female sex organ is called, if it is the female sex organ, you know, female sex organs are called as archegonia. Inside the archegonia, now you can say, and it is clear to you now, archegonia being a female sex organ, inside that the female gametes remain present. Yes, this is nothing but the egg. Yes, so it is the basic conception of the liverwort, and the statements in 1, 2, 3, 4 format, whatever are given, that deals with the liverwort character. So our focus is to find out which are correct or not. The correct statement we will take as our correct answer for this question. Now let us start to read. First statement 1. The antheridia. I have mentioned the antheridia are nothing but the male sex organ. Sure? Okay, read. The antheridia and the archegonia here, see student, archegonia is the female sex organ. Okay, fine. Produce the antherozoid. Yes, antheridia produce the male gamete antherozoid inside. And egg, and definitely archegonia produce the egg inside, which fuse, and it is the egg at the female gamete, you know. So they are able to fuse to produce the new liverwort zygote. Anyways, so which fuse during the sexual reproduction being a gamete? So definitely, student, it is right. So we are taking this statement 1. Fine. Read the statement 2. Elaborate mechanism of the seed dispersal. Students, seed dispersal is mentioned. You should always keep it in your mind. Algae, bryophyte, even in the pteridophyte, seeds have not come yet because they are the lower type of the plant. Seed-like any structures are not formed there. Seed comes from the group gymnosperm and obviously flowering plant angiosperms. So bryophyte or in the liverworts, whenever you see that seed-like structure is mentioned in any statement, you must consider it is wrong. So seed dispersal is mentioned as a character, so we are not taking it as a correct statement. So fine, come to the next. A sporophyte is formed from the zygote. Yes, student, whenever the male gamete and the female gamete are fused, the first twin of the life is nothing but the zygote, and if the zygote differentiates, initially the dependent sporophyte are formed, right student? From that, I have started my explanations to describe the liverwort. So definitely student, a sporophyte is formed from the zygote which is differentiated into, student, see, foot, theta, and capsule. So yes student, it is also, the statement is also deals with the correct explanation about the liverwort. Come to the fourth statement. Meiosis occurs in some cells of the capsule. See, I have mentioned this structure as a capsule, and inside the capsule I have mentioned the meiosis takes place, so that is why it can give some of the spore that are the first cell of the gametophytic phases. So meiosis occurs in some cells of the capsule, giving rise to the haploid spore. Yes student, I have mentioned, so it is also right. So definitely you can say, ma'am, 1, 3, 4 are the correct statement. So find 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4, yes, here, see, in option 3 it is mentioned as a correct one, so we have to find the correct statement of the liverwort. So 1, 3, 4 only is correct, so we are taking as the answer for the question, this is option 3. Okay, yes, fine. Come to the next question. Fine. Okay student, read. In bryophytes, the gametophyte, I have just mentioned about the life cycle pattern of the liverwort specifically though, but still, liverwort is one of the group of the bryophytes, so the general characteristics of any group of the bryophyte will be same. Yes, in the different group of the bryophytes, some different characters are there, it's okay, but generally it is same. Okay, fine. Again, in the bryophytes, the gametophytes are formed by, again student, think, male gamete in the bryophyte, male gamete, I mean the egg, okay, sorry, male gamete, I mean the, antherozoid, right? Male gamete, the biflagellate antherozoid, fine, antherozoids, right? And female gamete, this is the egg inside archegonia, okay? They undergo fertilization, making the twin zygote. Zygote is the first cell of the life, first cell. So the life first position remain as a structure which is called sporophyte, right? So definitely sporophyte means all the time sporophyte terminology denotes the twin cellular mass. So from the capsule portion of the sporophyte, meiosis occurs in the capsule portion of the sporophyte. Meiosis occurs, so that is why it gives the N spores. These are what? These are the spores. These are the spores. But spores at the end, when the spores released, yes, when the spores released, this gives rise to the green independent structure, and this is the obviously bryophytic plant body, but the gametophytic plant body. So student, whenever the question is such as that in bryophytes the gametophytes are formed by actually the mass of the haploid cell, which is called the gametophyte, it is coming from the spores which are the haploid N spores, right? So definitely we are taking the right answer as the spores. Spores is the first cell that gives the gametophytic structure. Sure? Okay. Okay. Come to the next question. And these questions is also statement based question, as I would like to mention during your class that plant kingdom is such a chapter where You have to remember so many information. There is no such as particular reaction or the mechanism, something like that. Yes, the mechanism or the phenomena as a mechanism you have to remember for each of the group of the plants. So information based chapter as it is. So statement based question, you may think that you may attend the so many type of the question, like the statements type of the question. So okay, anyways, it is another type of the statement based question. And what remain in the question, that which of the following statement, again we have to find the correct statement among the given. Okay, there are 4 given statements. So now let us find what are correct, right? Okay, student, first statement, what is written here, let us read first. Okay, the commercial product of agar obtained from the gracilaria as used to grow the microbes. Okay, student, listen about the statement 1 explanation, that red algae, red algae, or from the taxonomical aspect, these red algae are kept in the class Rhodophyceae. Okay, anyways, red algae, whatever that means, the Rhodophyceae also. Fine. So many examples, so many type of the algae matches with the characteristics of the red algae. So they are the examples of the red algae, such as I'm giving 2 examples of the red algae: Gracilaria, Gelidium, Gracilaria, Gelidium. There are so many examples under the red algae also, but still, just know that 2 red algae are Gracilaria, Gelidium. Fine, fine. Student, you always remember the importance of these 2 mentioned red algae, Gelidium, Gracilaria, are they can produce a chemical, you can say. This is called the agar. Okay, and it is actually economical important. It has so many importance. Economical important substance. Why? Because agar can make a semi-solid structure. Viscous, you may say semi-solid. Not properly rigid, solid, or not properly liquid. Rather, it is an intermediate phase between the solid and the liquid. It can make us it can make a structure or something which is semi-solid in the nature. And this semi-solidity enhances the preparations of the commercial food, like viscous food. What are these? Jelly, ice cream. Whenever we try to make ice cream, so definitely ice cream that are actually important, delicious. This is not actually only ice like a solid crystallized structure. Rather, ice cream is something composed of so many material. If we put the agar extract, so it convert it in the semi-solid viscous entity. So jelly, ice cream, like foods, whenever prepared, it is produced by the agar. And when we make the laboratory culture media, bacterial culture media, plant tissue culture media, when artificially we used to grow the plants or the bacteria in a culture media, so definitely culture media should have been semi-solid, because if it is a liquid, the growing material will float only, and it will not support the growth of the artificial biological organism. But if in the test tube a semi-solid, not liquid, not solid, such type of the nutrient media, if we can provide, if we can substitute there, so that is why the artificial plant part or explant or the bacterial culture, it can grow properly. So definitely agar is also important for, definitely from this aspect, bacterial culture media or microbial culture media preparation. Okay, microbial media preparation. So the microbes can get a habitat where they can easily grow. So microbial culture media um, is prepared with the help of the agar. So now read the commercial product of agar obtained from the gracilaria. Yes, geladium is not mentioned. Okay, but gracilaria is another agar making red algae. So gracilaria is used to grow the microbes. So it is right. So we are taking it. Fine. Come to the, next. Next explanation, I mean about statement 2, what is written here. Try to analyze it now. We are going to read the statement 2 now. Okay, what is there? Let us read. Fine. Read the statement 2. Okay, read the statement 2 now. The algae fix half of the total global carbon dioxide used for the photosynthesis. Student, it is the right statement. Again, I want to emphasize one is that photosynthetic biological organisms are generally the plant kingdom totally. And plant kingdom has, algae. You can say, ma'am, bryophyte is another group of the plant. You can say, ma'am, pteridophyte is another major group of the plant. You can say, madam, gymnosperm is another major group of the plant. And the most advanced plant group is what, you student? Angiosperm, right? So angiosperm is another group of the plant. Yes. So definitely they all, I mean, these 5 major groups of the plant, they all have the most common character, which is what? The photosynthetic ability. I mean, they are autotrophs. Okay, not only plant. If you think that protista, I mean the unicellular eukaryote, there are euglenoid, some chrysophyte. Euglenoids are photosynthetic. Some protistian dinoflagellate. Some protistial chrysophyte, they are also photosynthetic as because they bear the pigment that captured the light and they can able to make their own food. So they are also considered as the autotrophic. Okay, so entire plant kingdom photosynthetic. Some protistian member like euglenoid group, some dinoflagellate, not all, rather some chrysophyte, they are photosynthetic, as well as there are some there are some photosynthetic bacteria also. Some photosynthetic bacteria also. I mean, they can fix the carbon dioxide also. Okay. Even cyanobacteria or blue-green algae, they can fix the CO2 to make their own food. So see, some photosynthetic bacteria can fix the CO2 to make their own food. Okay. Some not all cyanobacteria, all cyanobacteria can fix the CO2 to make their own food. So photosynthetic. Some, the entire plant group fix the CO2 to make their own food. They are photosynthetic. And of euglenoid, some of dinoflagellate, chrysophyte, by the pigment, they capture light, and by fixing the CO2, they are also the photosynthetic. So, in the action of the photosynthesis, there are so many members, right? Now, among this entire photosynthetic group that I have mentioned in the board, on the screen, algae is one of them, the algal group. So definitely, algae would have the role of 1/10 role, or 1/20th role, or 1/30th role, something like that. But student, among entire photosynthetic group, algae being a single group has the role of maximum photosynthetic, I mean the CO2 fixation, I mean the food production ability. They alone exhibit The half of the total carbon dioxide fixation among the all carbon dioxide fixing group. And it is very important. So the number of the algae in the global environment is much more. The number of the algae is such in the number, such huge in the number. So itself in a group, it exhibits the half of the total food production of the CO2 fixing ability. Yes, so this point about the algae is very important point. Always remember there can be so many members of having the food synthetic ability, but algae has the major among all. Algae itself has the half of the total CO2 fixation ability. So it is also true, like the first, it is also true. We are taking as a right statement this statement too also. Okay, let us read the third, let us read the third statement. Let us read the third statement. So already it has revealed that option 1 and 2 are correct. Third statement. The bryophytes are divided into moss and ferns. No, student. Bryophyte has the two major group. These are already in the question 2. We have seen that leeward mechanism of the bryophyte. So leeward is one of the group of the bryophytes. It's okay. And the most advanced type of the bryophyte is the moss. But if you say, ma'am, pteridophyte is the very next group of the bryophyte in the plant kingdom, and pteridophyte has so many groups: Psilopsida, Lycopsida, Pteropsida, Sphenopsida, and Pteropsida. Actually, Pteropsida is the most advanced groups in the pteridophyte plant group, and Pteropsida is also known as the fern group, right? Pteropsida. So Pteropsida is nothing but actually these groups is also known as the fern. So if you see, the fern belongs to the group Pteridophytean plant group, but the moss is the group under the bryophyte. But in the statement 3, it is mentioned that bryophytes are divided into, moss is right, but fern is wrong. So the statement 3 is the, statement 3 is the wrong explanation, wrong statement it is, right? Statement 3 is wrong. But 2-1, right? And the last, but the not least, that is the fourth statement. Some species of the marine algae, like Porphyra, Laminaria, sargassum, as used as food. Yes, student, you should know it is an information also. Laminary is the brown edible algae. Okay, brown edible algae. These examples are very important. You have to practice so many type of the question that you can remember all the type of the examples. Keep studying the examples very carefully. I'm mentioning, okay, like these kind of the questions is a probable type of the questions for NEET examination. So that is why keep studying carefully the examples. Anyways, comes sargassum is another edible brown algae, whereas Porphyra, it is a red algae, but it is also edible. So it is the edible red algae. Fine. So as a whole, we can conclude that among these 4, 1, 2, 4 is correct, right? 1, 2, 4 is correct. 1, 2, 4 is correct. And as so, if you see that here in the option 1, 3, 4 is there, but and so 1, 2, 4 is not mentioned, but 1, 4 is only is correct here. So among these options, we can select yes, ma'am. Option 4 matches with our explanation that 3 is wrong, but 3 is wrong, but 1, 2, 4 correct. But 1, 2, 4 is not in any of the option. But yes, 1, 4 is there. So okay, 3 remain in the option 1, option 2, and option 3. But the 3 is actually wrong. So that is why, for having the 3, we are not considering 1, 2 or 3, rather we are considering as a correct statement the option 4, 1, 4 only. It can be a probable type of the questions. Though 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4 right, but still 1 to 4 is not in any of the option, but still 1, 4 is there, it's right. So we are taking as a correct answer for this question, this 1, 4. Okay, fine. Okay, come to the next question. Here, it is mentioned that fruits are not formed in the gymnosperm because. Okay, fine. So now, if you think about the plant group that is gymnosperm, gymnosperm means the open seeded plant. Seed is produced, it's okay, but open seeded, I mean flower absent. I mean, see, in the gymnosperm actually what actually present? In the gymnosperm, some this like of the structures is present, and entirely this structure is called as cone. If it is female cone, as because the question deals with the having the seed or not, so that is why I'm considering the female structure, female reproductive structure anyways. So female reproductive structure is what, students? Female cone. Fine. Okay. This is non-flowering flower also, because gymnosperm, though it has a reproductive structure organizedly, but it has also the seed-like structure after the sexual reproduction, but still flower is not produced in the gymnosperm. Rather, female cone has so many appendages. These appendages are called as the megasporophyll. Megasporophyll bear some megasporangia, or you can say, ma'am, this is also called the ovule. So that is why ovule take the male gamete, yes, and ovule contain the female gamete inside. So definitely their fertilization takes place. I mean, there you can say, ma'am, new twin is formed. The new twin is divided and the embryo is formed. So eventually ovule become the seed. Ovule become the seed. Okay. But see, ovule, seed, become the seed as because ovule participate in the sexual reproduction, but ovule are not present inside any wall, any covered structure. Rather, as they lack of the flower, so definitely there is no question of having the ovary, stigma style, something, the floral hole or floral appendages. So ovules are exposed on the sporophyll. They participate in the fertilization. They are becoming the, zygote to embryo. So eventually the ovules will be considered as the seed, but the seeds are open. And for being the open, the main reason is that there are no flower, no ovary-like structure, no ovarian covering. So fruit are not, and definitely as ovary are not there, so seed are there, but being exposed. So seed, we cannot say that seed remain inside the fruit. If their flowers will be there, if ovary will be there, if inside the ovary will remain present, so definitely ovule becomes seed inside the ovary. So ovary actually will be considered as a fruit, but ovary itself absent, seed remain open, and there is no matter of formation of the fruit as because ovary absent. So now, absence of fertilization, no, fertilization takes place in the gymnosperm. Definitely sexual reproduction is happening. So it's not. Come to the statement 3, I mean option 3. Here it is mentioned that absence of pollination. No, pollen grains are transferred. Pollination is there by the air current. It's okay. Absence of ovule, no. I have mentioned ovule is there. These megasporangia are called the ovule. But see, student, absence of ovary. So that is why we cannot say after the fertilization, the ovary itself becomes the fruit. So as because it lacks, I mean, gymnosperm lacks the flower and the ovary, so fruit-like structure never formed in the gymnosperm. So our right answer is the option 2 for against this question. Okay, student. Next, you can see on the screen here, we have selected an assertionism type of the questions. Get ready to solve it. Let us read. Okay, fine. Okay, let us read. Archegonia is the female sex organ of bryophyte. Actually, again, student, remember, if it is the green independent gametophyte of bryophyte as a dominant plant, dominant thallus, it has rhizoid, I mean root-like appendages and sex organ also. If you say, ma'am, female sex organ, so I will say the female sex organ is called archegonia. So archegonia is the female sex organ of any either moss or liverwort, any type of the bryophyte contain the female sex organ, which is called the archegonia. Okay, student? Fine. So definitely archegonia is the female sex organ of bryophyte. Assertion is right. Start to read the reason. Okay. In the reason, it deals with gymnosperm. It doesn't deal with bryophyte. So okay, still let us analyze either it is right or not. Anyways, in gymnosperm, fine. Archegonium is also present. Okay, student, listen one thing, one conception that on the previous question I have mentioned about the female cone or the structures. Let us repeat it once again to consider either this reason statement is right or wrong. Okay, again. Student, see. If you think about the gymnosperms, female sex organ, fine. It is nothing but, you know, a female cone. Yes, it is what? It is a female cone. Fine. So it is the female cone. This is the sex organ. Okay, focus on it. Individual, the spirally arranged appendages are called mega sporophyll. Okay, student. As gymnosperm is one of the seed-bearing plant, the flower is not appeared in the gymnosperm. Still, gymnosperm and angiosperm is the most advanced. Anyways, they are the one of the gymnosperm at least. It's one of the advanced type of the plant. So you should remember that being a advanced type of the plant, their main plant body is made up of the standard body cell, which is nothing but diploid. So you always remember that. If you consider the gymnosperm main plant body structure or angiosperm, obviously, they're the main plant body made up of the diploid cell, and diploid cell is the characteristics of the plant body characters of the gymnosperm. So anyway, so gymnosperm has these appendages in its body part. So definitely the two end cells are there. Okay. So in the female sex organ, this is one of the vegetative part of the gymnosperm. The cells are always 2N, I mean the sporophytic part. Okay, anyways. Now, on the each reproductive megasporophyll region, a bag-like structures are present. These bag-like structures are called, actually this is called the megasporangia, or it can be considered also as ovule. Okay, students. Still, definitely you can say, ma'am, megasporangia is also diploid cell. Yes, because it is another body part. It can be the sexual part, but still body part. So that is why this is also true. So now it is a special body part. Which type of the body part it is? It is a sexual organ. So that is why to produce the female gamete inside the megasporangia, the meiosis cell division takes place. So some 2n inside it undergo the meiosis to make N cell. Then N will increase to make a gametophytic tissue inside the sex organ. So still remember, as a plant body it is 2n, it is a sporophytic structure, but some fertilization for the need of the fertilization, some N cells are produced, but it remain in the sporophytic main plant body. So as a plant body, the plant body is the 2n. It is the nature of the advanced plant. Okay, anyway, so after they undergo inside it, meiosis takes place, right? Fine. So meiosis leads to the formations of the N tissue, and this is nothing but, you can say, student, this is madam gametophyte, right? Gametophyte means all you know that a mass of N cell. After the meiosis, the N cells are produced. It is actually called the megaspore. If the megaspore divides, it will make some N cell, and it will make the gametophyte. Actually, student, now you will get the answer. In case of the gymnosperm, the gametophyte is known as, what, student? Archegonia. Okay, so if one or two gametophytes are formed inside the megasporangia or the ovule, they are called the archegonia. This tissue, or there is another tissue inside the same megasporangia also, some N cell, and these are called what? N cellular N mass inside ovule is called archegonia. So archegonia is nothing, but the gametophyte of the gymnosperm. So archegonia is what, student? Again, I am mentioning, I am emphasizing that you can remember all the time that archegonia is what? Archegonia for the gymnosperm, it says it is the N cellular mass, gametophyte. Whereas in case of the bryophyte, archegonia is the female sex organ. So if you consider in gymnosperm, archegonium is also present, it's not wrong, it is also right. Yes, the conception of the archegonia is different in case of the bryophyte and the gymnosperm. It's okay, but yes, in the gymnosperm, archegonia structure is present, being gametophyte. So it is also right, but gymnosperm's archegonial presence definitely has no link on the bryophyte's archegonial function. So both are right, but R is not the correct explanation of the assertion. And this type of the statement you can read, you can get that actually, yes, in the option 3, that both A are correct and R is not the correct explanation of the A. So against this question, we are taking the right answer as the option 3. Okay, student, now read the next question. Here, it is given that the haploid means, N cells, okay, N cellular mass, or you can say gametophytic structure, whatever. Anyways, the haploid plant body of bryophytes have, you can say, ma'am, haploid means what? Haploid means, you can say, ma'am, gametophyte, right? Which is the main dominant plant body structure for the case of the bryophyte, green in the color. Time with our number for the previous so many questions I have mentioned you already today. Anyway, so it is the main plant body dominant, or the main plant body of any liverwort moss, any type of the bryophyte. It has these appendages that helps to absorb the nutrition that will support the photosynthetic ability. So you can say, ma'am, these are the root as they takes the nutrition from the soil, water from the soil. No, student, you cannot say it is root, as because being root, being stem, being leaf-like of the structure for the plant, at the cellular level, the conducting tissue must be present. Always remember about the leaf. Leaf has the vein inside. Actually, what are the vein actually? They're the conducting tissue, vessel, trachea, phloem. So, if there are no xylem and the phloem, you never can say, ma'am, it is a stem, it is a root, or it is a leaf. You never can say. So as in the algae, as in the bryophyte, still up to this group of the plant evolutionary, xylem phloem had not come. So you cannot say that in bryophyte, madam, root structure can be present. Root structure cannot be present, but yes, as they are the appendages, and actually the function seems to be like the root, as because absorptive in the nature. So what are actually known as the rhizoid. In case of the bryophytes, so rhizoids are nothing but, you can say, ma'am, root-like. Yes, root-like. Root and root-like has difference here. Yes, as because there is no xylem and the phloem, so it is rhizoid root-like. Similarly, in gametophytes of the moss, as I have said you already, liverwort is one of the type of the bryophytes, and there is another type of the bryophyte is a moss. Actually, a little bit advanced than the liverwort in some extent. In the moss gametophyte, in the moss end cell or the moss gametophyte, actually moss gametophyte looks something like that. There's this filamentous type of the elongated structure. Later, it elongates and having some green appendages. Okay, so definitely it looks like leaf, but it is not at all leaf, as because I have mentioned there is no xylem and the phloem in any group of the bryophyte. So leafy and leaf, there are difference. Root-like or leaf-like or the leafy, that means there are no xylem and the phloem. So yes, leaf-like appendages are also, leafy shoot also present in case of the moss. So moss is another group of the bryophytes. So to describe the main plant bodies, features of the haploid phase of the bryophyte, that definitely true root, stem, leaf absent. Food stator capsule is present, yes, but it is the sporophytic phase of the bryophyte. So in case of the gametophyte, we are not considering the food stator capsule type of the bryophytic structure. Strobilus, no students, strobilus actually cone-like structure, which actually found in some case of the pteridophyte, I mean Equisetum selaginellum. Later I will come to this. And already I mentioned the gymnosperm has the cone. Cone is also known as the strobilus. But in the bryophyte, you never can say, ma'am, this cone, compact appendages like structures are there. So strobilus, whenever you see, you must convince yourself it is not the character of the algae and the bryophyte. First two group devoid of this strobilus. But here, read the third number of the statement. Roots, leaf, this, like. Root like rhizoid, leaf like leafy. So actually it is right. It goes with the bryophytean characteristics. So instead 1, instead 2, instead 4, we are taking the correct description for the bryophyte as the option 3. Root and leaf, this like structures are present. Yes, so right answer is the option 3. Now another questions. Which of the following is not correct, not correctly matched? I mean, we have to find the odd one, odd option. I mean, there are some organism name and there are some characteristic features. So let us start. First one is the kelp. Kelp is mentioned. Student, you know kelp is, scientifically the name is the Macrocystis. Yes. And Macrocystis is what? It is a brown algae, you know. And which type of the brown algae it is? It has the height up to 100 meter. I mean, large sized, algae is called the Macrocystis. Largest, rather longest algae is the Macrocystis. Yes. It has certain extent of the height up to the 100 meter, and it is also profusely branched. It is important character. Profusely branched. So kelp profusely branched like thallus. Why thallus? Thallus means the flat plant body, as algae and the bryophytes are the simplest type of the plant group. So their plant body is often known as the thallus. Thallus means flat, simple type of the plant body. So yes, number 1 actually correctly matched, but we have to find the what is the incorrectly matched option. So we are not taking the option 1 because not correct we have to find. Second, start to read chlorella. Okay, chlorella is unicellular Yes, student, chlorella actually algae, it's okay. But you know, chlorella is one cellular or unicellular algae. So that is why, according to Whitaker classification, from the aspect of the biological classification, chlorella is algae, no matter. But the chlorella can be placed in the protista also for being the unicellular eukaryote. Anyways, so unicellular, it's right, and non-flagellate is also right. It is the plant body made up of the one cell in organization, and plant body does not contain the flagella. So option 2 actually correctly explained. The feature matches with the organisms. I mean, give an example. It's right. So we are not taking the option 2 also. Now read option 4. First start to read. Okay, option 3 first read. Spirogyra. Fine. Spirogyra is what, student? You know, Spirogyra is a filamentous green algae. Spirogyra is what? Spirogyra is the filamentous green algae. So definitely, already it is clear to us that option 1 correctly stated, option 2 correctly stated, option 3 also correctly stated. So definitely option 4 should have been incorrectly stated. But still, lastly, just go through either how it is not right. So okay, lastly we are going through it. Gracilaria, agar preparing, I have mentioned. So it is a red algae. And red algal characteristics feature is that their mode of the sexual reproduction is what, student? Sexual reproduction is always, it is the special character to describe the red algae or rhodophytes is that, student, the sexual reproduction is by oogamy. Yes, internal fertilization of the algae. I mean, motile male gamete goes to the female reproductive structure where the female gamete or the egg waits for the male gametes coming and for the fusion. So it is called the oogamy, and oogamal type of the sexual reproduction is common for the every red algae. There is no any other chance of the sexual reproduction by same type of the gametic fusion, by the dissimilar size gametic fusion, never can happen in case of the any type of the red algae. But in case of the green algae, in case of the brown algae, there are different type of the sexual reproduction. But to describe the red algae, always oogamy. But here, being a red algae, classic isogamal sexual reproductions is written, so it is not the correct match. It does not matches with the Gracilaria. So it is actually odd one among these 4 options. So our right answer is the option 4 for this question. Okay, next, read another question. It is a directly example based question with some features. I am stating, let us read. Equisetum, fine. You know, equisetum is a pteridophyte. And the 2 main character of the equisetum is one, it has the, cone or reproductive leaves makes a cone or strobilus. So strobilus is present in case of the equisetum. Always remember. Okay, student. Next, pteris. Pteris is another pteridophyte. Rather, it belongs to the advanced group of the pteridophyte. This is the fern. And fern, being a pteridophyte, the leaf size is comparatively larger, so their leaves is called the macrophyll. So it is one of the character for the pteris. Next, come to the another explanation about the fucus. Fucus is nothing but the fucus is one of the example of the brown algae. I want to mention one of the character of the brown algae is that always you should know the brown algal cell wall. Brown algal, any brown algal, not for the fucus only. It is the general character of the any brown algae. It is what? The brown algal cell wall is covered by a gelatinous covering, and gelatinous covering is called as the algin, and algin has the capacity to retain and the fix or absorb the water. So algin is also known as the hydrocolloid. So it is one of the character of the fucus, that is the presence of the algin in the cell wall. Yes. Come to the D, and the D has the example Selaginella. Selaginella's 2 major feature is that Selaginella is a first of all pteridophyte. Fine. Okay. Next, another part is that Selaginella's body looks like that. Smaller size of the leaf is present in the Selaginella pteridophyte. So definitely, if you say, ma'am, Pteris is a pteridophyte, but I have said is the advanced pteridophyte, size of the leaf is larger. But if it Selaginella is also pteridophyte, but the leaf size is smaller. So these leaves are called what, student? Microphyll. So let us match. First thing, start with the Selaginella, right? D. Definitely, directly you can ensure me that, ma'am, according to you, pteridophyte contain the small size of the leaf. Though there are so many examples that have the small size leaf, but still for these questions, always remember pteridophyte has the microphyll. Though equisetum here also, where I have mentioned equisetum here, equisetum has also contain the microphyll, small size of the leaf, but still equisetum has also microphyll, small size of the leaf, and Selaginella also. Okay, Selaginella contain microphyll. Okay, so definitely let us start with the Pteris first. Pteris macrophyll. So B4 remain in the option 3 and the 4. So don't see the 1 and the 2 now. Let us match the A. Equisetum may have, you can say, ma'am, equisetum has the strobilus. So A is 2. A can be 2 or the 3. So okay, now if you go to from the D aspect, Selaginella has the microphyll. So okay, D3, it's okay. B4, it's okay. If you say, ma'am, equisetum A, madam, A is 2. Yes, equisetum has the strobilus, it's also right. And if you say, ma'am, fucus has the algin, C1, it's also okay. So entirely the 4 options satisfies all of the correctly matching. So we are taking the option 4 as a correct answer. So A, equisetum has the strobilus, Pteris contain the macrophyll, fucus has the algin, and Selaginella contain the microphyll. So entirely all ABCD matches correctly, which is mentioned in the option 4. But the last another questions yet left. So let us analyze it lastly, because I have mentioned you already so many statement type of the questions may come from this chapter. So again, another statement of type of the questions you can see on the screen. I'm showing that there are 5 statements. Out of this, we have to find how many of these are correct. Just we have to count it. So okay, fine. First, start to read. In the liverwort, the mosses and in liverwort, mosses and ferns, the gametophytes are the free living. Always remember, student, in case of the bryophyte, in case of the pteridophyte, one important things I will say you now, bryophytes main plant body is green, okay, and dependent phase is comparatively sporophyte. And you can say, ma'am, so what will be the nature of the main plant body? It is the gametophyte. So in case of the bryophyte, always remember that main plant body is the gametophyte, which is green, that is the independent. But wherever we are mentioning that in bryophyte, the dependent phase is a sporophyte. Dependent means non-green. Though in advanced mosses, advanced bryophyte, there are some exception, but still, generally, you can think in such aspect that being a bryophyte, the main plant body, the dominant plant body is haploid in nature and green, but the sporophyte is actually not completely green. Partially can be green, but not completely green. The sporophyte is dependent on the green main plant body, thallus, for the bryophyte. If you consider about the pteridophyte, here the main plant body has the root, stem, leaf. Main plant body is the diploid, the sporophyte. But as the being main plant body, but still it has the leaf, so definitely it is green. So it is independent, obviously. It is the main plant body. So main plant body here for the case of the bryophyte, gametophyte, but for the case of the pteridophyte, the main plant body is the sporophyte, but still both are green. Now, the rest is about the pteridophytic another phase, which is gametophyte. You know, student, pteridophyte, gametophyte is not the main phase, rather it is called the prothallus. It is not the main pteridophytic plant body structure, but still pteridophytes, gametophyte is also green. So now let us summarize. In case of the bryophyte, the gametophyte is green, but the sporophyte of the bryophyte is non-green. But in case of the pteridophyte, the main plant body is okay, sporophyte, but yes, it is green, and the short-lived phase is also green. So now consider the first statement, number one statement in liverworts. I mean bryophyte. The mosses. Mosses is also the bryophyte. And the fern is the pteridophyte. The gametophytes are free living. Gametophytes here obviously free living because sporophyte is dependent in the bryophyte, but gametophyte is a free living, and pteridophyte both are free living. So actually it is right. Okay, read statement 2. Fern. Fern means what? Pteridophyte, fine. Okay. Statement 2. The fern and some gymnosperms are heterosporous. Basically, in case of the gymnosperm, rather all gymnosperm, there are distinct male structure. I mean the male cone and the female structure, and the female cone. The male cone has the small sized actually sporophyll, so they are called the microsporophyll. But in case of the female, they are the comparatively bigger size of the sporophyll, so these are called the megasporophyll. So definitely you can say, madam, after the meiosis that are produced by this microsporophyll and the megasporophyll, the size differ from each other. So the microsporophyll bag-like structure is called the microsporangia. It undergo the meiosis and it produces the spore, haploid spore. These are the microspore. Whereas inside the megasporophyll, the megasporangial bag-like structures are present. Inside this, meiosis takes place, and by the meiosis, you can say, madam, what will produce? The megaspore, comparatively larger than that of the microspore that are produced in the male reproductive microsporangia. So these are called the megaspore. So from that gametic or gametophytic generational cell, it is very much clear to us that the spore dissimilar in the different type of the compatible sex in case of the gymnosperm. So definitely they should be heterosporous. But here in the statement, the some gymnosperm are heterosporous is mentioned is quietly wrong. And in case of the fern, you know, fern is a pteridophyte, you know, fern is pteridophyte. And in case of the pteridophyte, the meiotic, all type of the spores, irrespective they are male or female, they all are same, identical. So they are called homosporous. But yes, there are some exception in the pteridophyte. These are the Selaginella and Salvinia. Being pteridophyte, still the male spore that gives the male prothallus, male gametophyte, or the female spore that would give the female prothallus, female gametophyte is different in their size. But being a pteridophyte is an exceptional case for the Selaginella salvinia. But generally, for case of the any type of the pteridophyte, the spores, the product of the meiosis are same, so homosporous. But generally, to describe the all group of the gymnosperm, they should be the spore, the meiotic product, the gametophytic cells are dissimilar in the size. Smaller male gamete for the, as the named as the microspore or the pollen grain for the gymnosperm, and the larger comparatively female, these are the megaspore. So statement 2 is not right. Statement 2 is not right. We are not considering the statement 2 as a right one. So we are taking the first one, but we are not considering the statement 2 as right. Come to the third one. The sporophyte in the mosses, I mean bryophyte. Bryophytes, lower type of the bryophyte, if you say, ma'am, this bryophyte is the liverwort. Yes. But comparatively advanced type of the another group of bryophyte is moss. If you want to see the main gametophytic structure of liverwort, it is something like that here. But in case of the moss, the main plant body has the prostrate structure as well as some of the erect structure. The erect structure bear the sex organs. There the fertilization takes place. And definitely here, after the sexual reproduction, the sporophyte will be formed. Is that clear? And it is the characteristic feature of the moss, the comparatively advanced type of the bryophyte. So if you say that the sporophytes in the mosses is more elaborate than that of the liverwort, yes, it's right, because moss structure is elaborate. The sporophyte is formed up to a certain height as because of the erect branching pattern of the gametophyte and their fertilization and the zygote production and thereafter the sporophyte production, it is elaborate. But in case of the liverwort, if you say it is not so much elaborate, so here the sex organ, here the fertilization, here the sporophyte production, so it is not elaborate. So definitely statement 3 is also right. The sporophyte in the mosses is more elaborate than that of the liverwort. It is right. Read the next statement. Fucus, brown algae. Volvox, green algae. Spirogyra, green algae. These are algae, okay? These are the algae. Fucus, Volvox, Spirogyra are the algae. Fucus is the brown algae, Volvox is the green algae, and Spirogyra is also the green algae. Are the example of the green algae? Here, it is the wrong, because out of these 3, Fucus is not at all green algae, it is the brown algae. So definitely at this step, we can be sure it is wrong, but still finish it. And they exhibit the sexual reproduction by oogamy. No, student, you know Fucus volvox undergo oogamy, it's okay, but in case of the Spirogyra, the male gamete and the female gamete both are actually identical and non-motile, as because flagella absent and they participate in the fusion to make the zygote. So definitely for 3 of these, Fucus volvox and Spirogyra, togetherly we cannot say that they all are the green, as because Fucus is brown algae. From that aspect it is wrong, as well as 3 do participate in the sexual reproduction by oogamy, it is also wrong, as because though the Fucus volvox undergo by the oogamous method of the internal fertilization, but still externally by the similar structure, similar gametophytic structure, similar gamete as the male and the female, which is called the isogamy, it is found in case of the Spirogyra. So we are not taking as a right statement this statement number 4. And the last statement, which states that the mosses have the elaborate mechanism of the seed dispersal. Again, student, if you see the seed like structure is associated with any algal member, with any bryophyte member, with any even pteridophyte member, you then and there readily you should consider this wrong, as because seed is present in gymnosperm and in advanced covered level in case of the angiosperm. So definitely if it is the spore, it would have been right. But as in case of the moss seed is mentioned, definitely you must tell me, you must confess yourself that it is wrong. So it is also wrong. So out of this 5, just statement 1 is right and statement 3 is right. So only 2 are right. So 2 is mentioned in option 3. Against this question, we are taking the right answer as the option 3. Yes, student. So we have seen so many important questions on the chapter Plant Kingdom. I would like to suggest you keep studying thoroughly, as because this chapter is full of information. Keep studying. Stay tuned. We will be coming back very soon with another so many questions on this chapter, Plant